Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope we are all doing well. Good evening. I see Davina in on YouTube saying good evening to everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another session. I hope we are all doing great. Sorry for the delay in starting. Was just trying to fix some connection issues with our guests for tonight. So I hope we'll be able to have him in a few minutes from now. Fingers crossed. I'm not very sure what's happening on his end, but I am here. I hope we are doing great. Are we excited to be here again? Are we excited? Are we excited? If you're excited, please, I want to see some excitement in the chat. Please make me know that I am being heard. Make me know that I am live. Are we excited about today? Can we all start sharing our excitement? What have we been learning for the past three? This is the third series today. I see he's connected, but he says device is not connected. So I'm not very sure about what is happening because I can't add him on stage, unfortunately. um I'm still trying to figure out how I'll be able to do that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Delighted to know that I'm being heard. So if you're joining for the first time, my name is Annabelle Lola. I am founder of Bezzatelli, which is an athleisure wear brand, sportswear brand that I started in order to provide women with comfortable, stylish sportswear that will make them comfortable, confident as they go about their sports life, as they go about their active life, and also as they go about their busy day. So if you go, our website is back live again. Woo-hoo-hoo, finally. But I'm still trying to do some final finishing touches. So if you want to visit our website, it's www.bezzatelli.com. Do visit. Your feedback will be highly appreciated so that we can see what people want more, what we can ameliorate, what we can change. We are here to serve the people. We are here to know what people want and provide more of those than what we want. So I hope we would be able to get our guests in the end. Notwithstanding, like I said, I am a mom, I am a wife, I am starting out in entrepreneurship, and also very passionate about personal development, about building the woman, about building young people, about helping make a change in people's lives. So if you're here today, I believe it's because you want to learn, you want to improve, you want to become a better person. In our past two sessions, we spoke about first, we spoke about self awareness, which meant recognizing and understanding our emotions, our feelings, our beliefs, our perceptions, our passions, who we are, um, and also understanding what our strengths, our weaknesses are. That's a very key, very important key if you want to be successful, if you want to excel in whatever you are starting out in. Then, our last live, we were talking about purpose. How do you discover what your purpose is? Davina, if you can please tell me where you're watching from, I'll be delighted to have you for as a first time watcher. It's lovely to have you. So, last time we spoke about purpose. How do you discover what your purpose is? And in talking about purpose, we looked at the cross method. So we looked at the cross method, and we also looked at the shape method of discovering your purpose. So we looked at two methods of discovering purpose. We talked about the cross. So first, you look up to God. Then secondly, you look inward. You look at yourself. What are those passions? What are those skills that you have? What are those things that keep you awake on a day-to-day basis? What are those things that you can do for free without expecting anyone to pay you? You do for hours without actually getting tired. Then you look at your negative emotions as well. What are those things that frustrate you in the society? What are those things that bring a tear in your eye, that when you think about it, you just feel like, I want to bring a change to this? And then finally, you look around you. You look around you for feedback. What are those things that people really appreciate you for? What are those things that people would be willing to pay you for? Those things that whenever you do, people say, oh, you're really good at that. You got wisdom in this area. So you look at those, you get those feedback from people, then you know that this is an area of strength. Maybe you need to capitalize on that. So after the cross method, then we looked at the shape. Shape is what are your gifts, your spiritual gifts. What is your heart telling you, those things that you're passionate about. Then A is for abilities. What are those abilities that you have? What are those skills that you have acquired? And then P is personality. What does your personality tell you? Are you an introverted person? Are you extroverted? Or how do you really interact with other people? And then finally, we talked about E for shape, which is your experiences. What are those life experiences that have shaped you till date? What are some of those things that have made you who you are, or have made you believe about certain things which might necessarily not be the right things? But what are those experiences that have shaped your life? So today we are going to talk about attitude, and I am really hoping that we'll be able to get our main speaker for the day. So, notwithstanding, we'll try to give to lay the grounds about the session for today. So I hope you have your notepad with you so that you can take down notes. And I would love to see as much interaction to be sure that we are keeping the pace, to be sure that we are at the same page, and then also to make sure that what what I am sharing here is being assimilated, is being understood. And I'll also be delighted if you can put in comments, if you can put in questions in the comments as we go, so that we can take the questions as we go, not wait till the end before taking down questions. So while waiting that my guest will get his connections stated, while it gets arranged, um, I'll lay the grounds. So I'll get started. So today we are talking about attitude. As we all know, attitude is a very, very, very important aspect of our lives. If you have a positive attitude, it means that you can easily get along with a lot of people. But if you have a negative attitude, it will be very difficult, even at your job site, with your partner, with your children, wherever you find yourself, it will be very difficult for you to excel. And because we are on this, I'll try to mute some of the notifications there. Sorry about that. So, because we are on this series of how to make 2022, or how to make our life going forward more successful, we are looking today at, as we all know, sugar, sorry. We are looking today at attitude, because we want to be able to improve our attitudes so that our lives, our job will be more fulfilling. So, what is attitude? Attitude is the way we think. Okay, I see my guest is finally here. Hello, Mr. Frank. Good to see you.
Good evening, Annabelle. It has really been a challenge, this IT world and so many securities we put on our phones because we want to avoid hackers, and it's dealing with me. I hope you can get me 5 on 5.
I can hear you perfectly. I'm so glad
Wow.
to hear you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Annabelle. And I really want to congratulate you and to thank you for the wonderful work you've been doing for a very long while. I've been following you on live, most of your events and broadcast, and you're really making a positive contribution in making the world a better place. Congratulations and thank you again very much for that selfless sacrifice.
Thank you so much. I should be thanking you because you're one of those people who is almost always at every of my life. So I'm really like, oh my God, if I should give prizes, if I should give a reward to my best follower, I guess you would be one of them. I'm so glad. Thank you for honoring this invitation. So I'm sure all of our followers, all of those listening to us, they would like to know who is Kemsey Franklin. Can you please tell us about yourself?
Wow. What do I really say about myself? Kemsey Franklin is
It's usually very
pro-
difficult to
professionally, I am a technician. I work with the oil and gas industry. I with a lot of experience, passionate when it comes to farming. So when I'm off, I really involve in entrepreneurial activities. I own a farm where I grow ready to eat birds for the table. That is, I do poultry and I do gardening too as well. I do vegetable cultivation. I also plant other crops, particularly to raise the animals I'm keeping. And I'm really, really, really passionate about finding out the reasons why some people succeed in life and they make it because I've had plenty of failures. And this personal development journey has taken me a step ahead, and it's a sweet journey. I think basically that's me. I'm a father of four, married. I have four kids. The first is a very beautiful lady, girl, and she has five ambassadors, young guys behind her to give her a push. And that's me. I love singing. I'm a shy guy, but I love to participate.
I think before the end of this session, we might certainly listen to you sing. Actually, I think Frank has really been very modest. Frank is doing a lot to make the world a better place. He failed to tell us that he's a technician in the oil industry, in the oil world. So you can imagine who he is or what impacts he's making in the world. So please make sure to connect with Frank in one way or the other. If you have further questions after this session, connect with Frank, be it on Facebook, or he'll tell us how he wants people to reach out to him. So, before you came in, I was just trying to kind of get the ball rolling on the session for today. And we chose a topic which I think kind of impacts each and every one of us in one way or the other: the power of attitude, the way attitude impacts our lives. And I just want you to tell me, what do you think is attitude, and how do you think attitude really impacts our life? Because I know attitude is very, very important, be it at the workplace, in school, as a student, whether you are in an apprenticeship or whatever you're doing. The attitude that you adopt towards other people is very important.
Thank you very much, Coach Annabelle, for giving me this opportunity to talk about attitude. Generally, when the word attitude comes in mind, we are first of all geared looking at the negative aspect of attitude. I would like to give that definition, which I know we'll not have to dwell on it today because it will be useless talking more and dwelling so much on uncooperative behavior. One of the first definitions that come in mind each time somebody talks about attitude is an uncooperative behavior. You get it easily. Most people say he or she is showing me an attitude. You can't believe this child has changed. Now she's showing me attitude. That is more of an uncooperative behavior. And I think we won't really want to spend so much time talking about anything negative, but to talk of something that we can impact on ourselves. So I'll look at the second definition of attitude, which, in very simple terms, attitude is a settled way or way of thinking and feeling about something. That is a settled way or a conclusive way in which a person views and evaluates something or someone, kind of a tendency to respond positively or negatively towards a certain idea, object, people, or situation or circumstances. That's how I look at it.
That's so amazing. I like the definitions you have given, and because we want to make the world a better place, we don't want to focus on the rather off side of it or the negative side of it. So we are going to focus today for our listeners on talking about how they can maybe build a positive attitude, or what are those skills, those strategies that they can use in order to incorporate positivity more in their lives. So in the professional world, I believe that attitude is very important. But do you think that how can this kind of impact someone? How can your attitude impact you as a professional if maybe you're not behaving at your best? How can this impact your job or the people that you're working with?
Okay, first, when I look at attitude and with the definition we already have, and I combine with other ancient wisdom suggestions, like ancient wisdom suggests that every failure comes from misunderstanding, and failure is an error in judgment. So if your judgments are wrong, if your attitude is wrong, you know, it's very likely that you won't really make it easily. Looking at when I look at the professional environment that I find myself, especially working offshore in the oil and field world, I've seen young people who come in and with the right attitude, with the right positive attitude, you see them really move faster, and they kind of progress, they move ahead in the career ladder faster than those who've been in the particular positions. I take a typical example, like if they call a young man, please, we want you to do this particular task, they always go there happily. Even if some other person is called to come and participate or do something, they always come in, they always kind of volunteer that I want to participate. Please, can I be given the opportunity? And once they're given the opportunity, you know, they're always there. They're motivated. They're ambitious. They really want to learn more and grow faster. And they kind of and they're easily well seen. While in an overall view, you look at them giving in more than they are being paid. And you have while you have those older ones who've been in the field and they're just satisfied with just doing just a little bit of what or in compensation, or how do I put it, in compensation or relative to what they are being paid. They don't want to do anything extra. And of course, you see a young person comes in and within a very few years he's moving up in the leadership, in terms of in leadership positions of responsibility. That's how I look at it. So it entails a lot of positive mindset and thinking about the greater good, irrespective of what your current situation is. That's how I look at the impact of attitude when it comes to the corporate world. I don't know if I got exactly what you wanted, and I gave a good brief to that, Coach Annabelle.
Yeah, so I think in that same light, we'll just take the question from Stephanie. Stephanie is asking, so what is the right attitude to move faster? If you want to move faster in your professional ladder, what is the right attitude to adopt?
Okay, quite a good question and a very interesting one too. When I look, in fact, for you to be able to make positive progress, you need to have a very positive mindset and way of thinking. That is, you need a positive attitude. And that may have to push me to kind of use, I want to borrow from this great personal development master, Napoleon Hills. His definition is really wonderful when it comes to the definition for a positive attitude. He states, in fact, Napoleon Hill describes a positive mental attitude as a state of mind which the individual must create and maintain. That is, you create a state of mind and maintain it by your own method, your own choice, through operations of your own willpower and based on motives of your own adoption. That is, I look at a positive mental attitude as your kind of like, if you want to relate with the car systems we have, like a GPS system for a car, which enables you to drive through a road that you've never been there before. Because the whole idea is when you have the right positive thinking method, where you look at things, where you look at people, you make very little errors. And when you make little errors, you get the you when you make very little errors in judgment, there will be very little misunderstandings, and our abilities reach a maximum in terms of effectiveness, and the result, of course, always comes in inevitably. And when there's success, there's growth. So that's the easiest way to climb on the success ladder, to develop a very positive attitude.
Thank you so much, Coach Frank, for that. In addition to that, I would like to go back to the first topic that I started with in this series of strategies to make your year a successful one. I talked about practicing self awareness. The first topic was self awareness, and it consists of recognizing what your strengths, your weaknesses, your passions are. So, here it entails you trying to reason it out. What are those things that I believe in? Because our attitude is also it's a combination of the things that have kind of shaped us. What are some of those beliefs that you had growing up? What are some of those values that you have in your life? Because your values would not very much be different from, like, if you have positive values, positive set of values, your attitude will most likely be positive. So I see it in a way that if you think of the way what your beliefs are, what do I believe about other people, what do I think of other people, what is my emotion towards what people are saying. For example, if you're at your workplace and all the time what you do is reflect to someone's question as being negative, you're not good at taking feedback, then it'll be very, very difficult for you to move up the professional ladder. Whereas if you're looking at it like, okay, this person is saying it from a point of love, he has definitely given me they call it the sandwich method of giving feedback. He gave me what I did wrong, then he told me what I have to do, and then he added to it by giving me key or helping me, teaching me what the next thing is to do. So if you look at it that way, that regardless of what people might be telling you, especially in terms of feedback, they're doing it from a point of love, then you take it as positive and then build from there. But if you're looking at it as, okay, this person, we don't even get along in the first place, then you're already looking at it like, I won't take this person's feedback, and it won't as well help you in getting better or getting to the next level at your job. And another thing is, I would say, seek for opportunities to grow. Like if you have the right attitude, it means you're always open, you want to grow, you want to learn, you want to develop, you want definitely to move to a managerial position, or why not even to own your own business. So look for those opportunities, learn from other people. By learning, it's already having the right attitude, because you have to submit yourself to someone. You have to give yourself, you have to give in time, and and have that desire to grow. So I believe that having the right attitude comes with a lot of what we are already discussing, because if you also have to build a good set of habits, is definitely a good way to go. So I just have some guests at my door there. Another thing I would say, Stephanie, is to practice kindness. When you practice kindness, you would see that you'll be able to grow, because when you're kind, more people want to come to you, people want to deal with you, people want to do business with you, people want to help you, because they know that you on your own, you're a resourceful person, you're someone who is ready and able to learn, ready and able to give out to other people, because what most people want in their workplace is someone who wants to pass knowledge on to others. They will give you people that you train so that they become better at doing what they're doing. So that's the bit that I can add to what Coach Frank has already said. I think we must have lost him there due to network issues. Another thing is to practice gratitude. If you're showing all the time that you're grateful for what you have, if at your job you're usually grateful to people for what they're doing, then they would all obviously pay you forward by kind of putting you in better positions. So I'll ask our guest the next question, and then I'll try to sort out what is happening in my home. Unfortunately, I'm all alone tonight with the three boys, so I have to deal with both at the same time. So I my next question to you, I believe that Stephanie has asked what would have been my next question: strategies to cultivate a positive attitude. If you have anything else that you can add, you can go ahead. But my next question to you would have been, what are some of the challenges that you think people usually face when they go through this route of either building a positive attitude or maintaining the positive attitude that they already have? Your microphone is muted.
Sorry, before I come to answering yours, this particular question, I I have been thinking of a particular way of of adding more value or sharing some of my 10 most strategic, valuable, positive attitudes I'm working on myself and trying to see how I could master. And I find it really interesting to share as well because I look at the positive attitude as our constructive thinking guide or an evaluation tool for our actions. And just like the GPS, like I said, for drivers driving cars. So to get the best result, we need constant upgrade, of course. You've mentioned that already. And the more you know, the better you perform. I look at everything comes from our thinking process. If our thinking process is right, we can always come out with outstanding performance. So to add to that, before I answer the next question, I just wanted to share 10 of my most valuable positive attitudes. The first one I got in mind is to go for a positive driven life or a purpose driven life. That is, start every day or every task with a why. You know, I know this topic you've covered in most of your past sessions, but I think it's worth because most of these topics are interconnected. So I'm bringing it up again as my key point or key pointer for a positive attitude. The why is that element that will continuously inspire you to take action. That's how I look at the why and keep you doing and going the distance. My number two positive attitude I am struggling to adopt as well, and I encourage everyone to, I suggest everyone should copy, will be to develop a teachable attitude. And when we talk about teachable or teachability, two aspects come in mind: the ability to learn and the ability to accept change. If you learn and you do not put it in practice, it won't help you. Like it's commonly said, to know and not to do is not to know. So you must be able to learn, and you must be able to accept change, because some of the things you learn may be very different from what you probably learned from childhood, and now you've attained a certain level. It's difficult to switch. So it's very important when you learn anything new or worthy. I mean, you should do everything possible to apply it in your life. So those key two elements are very critical when it comes to being teachable. The third, I think, is to develop a top self-confidence attitude. Self-confidence to me, it's the willingness to do whatever it takes to do anything. In normal, in my observation, I've observed that those who always speak in terms of "I will try," they never come out with good results. And it's very common to find a lot of people say, you tell them, "Will you be there?" "I'll try to be there." Honestly, they won't come, because try doesn't have commitment. But somebody who has self-confidence, that self-confidence attitude, you always talk of "I will do it." It's a very different level of response, because "I will do it," it comes with a lot of commitment. It means whatever it takes, I'll do it. But if when you use it in terms of "I will try," there'll always be an excuse. But when you say "I will do it," I prefer we develop that "I will do it" attitude, because you always put you do everything to make sure that you don't fail. But once you put the element of try, there's in fact, from the very beginning, you're already indicating that I'll have an excuse, or in case it doesn't go, I'll just give another excuse. The fourth element, I think, which is a good attitude, positive attitude to develop, is to develop the attitude to look for the good in every person we come across, and not just persons, but events as well, especially catastrophic events. When things really go bad, I remember sometime in my life, or in my business life, I lost my poultry. It was consumed by fire, and unfortunately, it was like the biggest disaster I'd ever had. As a young man growing, I saw millions gone, like everything went. And in the eyes of everybody, that was a big loss. But years later, I took it positively. But because of that fire, disputes came out, and eventually, I don't know, I don't want to say they pitied me, but somehow, because of the fire, it brought in a land dispute. The dispute was resolved, because at the time I was renting, so I was just in the middle. I wasn't involved in the dispute. But the end of the dispute is that both parties came and sold the land to me. And today I find myself having a very big chunk of land at no cost. So there is always a hidden gold behind every catastrophe, or something that seems to look like it's not good. So we should have that attitude to look for the good in every event, every person, every circumstance. If you have that positive attitude, you will really make plenty of progress. Number 5 on 10, for a positive attitude, I'll suggest that everywhere you go, light up the environment with your smile, and genuinely work in helping other people. And especially make sure you put other people first. I think it's a very good attitude and opens doors a lot. When people know, especially when you're in business, and people know that you genuinely care about them, and that you're not just struggling to sell your products. That's my example. They'll choose to patronize you. But once they discover that, oh, your aim is just to sell, they don't take you seriously. They don't listen to you, and with time you lose your clients. A lot of people who are in business can really testify on that. I'm talking from a very personal point of view. I've understood that, and now my approach is a little different. Point 6 on 10 is to develop an attitude of do unto others what you expect them to do unto you. And we can expand this. It means talk about others just the same way you want others to talk about you, or listen to others just the same way you want others to listen to you. Talk about others in their back just the same way you expect others to talk about you when you're not there as well. It's a very good positive attitude, and I encourage everyone to adopt it as well. Coach Annabelle, am I taking it too long, or you want me to go back? Can I
No,
continue, or I answer the next question?
Yeah, keep going. I really like the point on the golden rule. Do unto others what you want done unto you. So keep, like, I hope everyone is getting some knowledge out of this. Please keep your comments coming, keep your questions coming. Yeah, keep it going, please.
All right, I go to the next point number 7 on 10 for my 10 strategic positive attitude. Develop the attitude to always prepare in advance and seize the opportunities immediately they surface or come up. Like it's always said, it's easily said than done, of course. It's commonly said that proper preparation prevents or prevents poor performance. You know, it's a very common thing, and everybody says it all the time. But honestly, it's not easy to put it into practice. It's easy to say, but to put it into practice is challenging. And I encourage everyone. One of the possible ways to really prepare to have a better mental positive attitude is reading books. But how many people really on our days really invest time to read? So indirectly, they are not actually preparing for the opportunities when the opportunities come, because if you don't update your thinking process, you won't be able to make right judgment which actually suits the time. You must be able to be up to date. That's an example. I think point number 8 on 10, develop the attitude of not eating your seed corn. Yeah, we live in a time where there is everything is so challenging, and people kind of they spend up all their revenues or their income without reserving anything for reinvestment. So today I want us to adopt that positive attitude, the kind that you make sure you don't eat up all your seed corn, and you reserve at least 10% of your income, so you can 10% of your income, so you can at least reinvest again for yourself for rainy days or for opportunities when they come. Coach Annabelle, am I still on? I'm talking on my.
Your life. Keep going, Coach.
Okay.
Coach Frank. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So point 9 on 10, you have developed an attitude of patience. We live in a world where everybody is in a rush today, and it's important for us to understand that success, or to succeed in life, indeed takes time. We should be patient. We shouldn't be in a hurry. That's one of the things that really draw us back again. And I want us to develop that positive attitude. One of the biggest positive attitudes I think for success is to be patient and never giving up. And the last for my 10th positive attitudes I prepared for today was to develop an attitude to constantly cure yourself from excusitis, the failure disease. I'm borrowing this word excusitis. It's a word that was developed by David Schwartz in his book, The Magic of Thinking Big. He talks a lot about this particular aspect in chapter 2 of the book. Excusitis is the excuse disease, the kind of you kind of give excuses for why you did not do it. You ask a simple question: Did you save 10% of your income last month? No, my daughter was sick. An excuse comes up. No, that's an excuse. Did you save it? It's a yes or a no. And we live in a world where people give excuses all the time, and they don't really answer questions. They don't face the reality. They don't take 100% responsibility. So that's the last point I had. Cure yourself from the failure disease, which is excusitis. That is, you don't take 100% responsibility for the events or the circumstances that come your way. And if you don't do it, you don't really grow. But the moment you start taking responsibility, you don't blame others. If it's to be done, it's up to me. I don't give any excuse. I'll put in my 100%. Whatever it takes, I'll put in my best. Of course, success is going to be your new name. Coach Annabelle, I think I'm done with the 10 points I thought I had to share in this direction.
I really like the points, and I think I'll have to kind of do a small ebook on those points. I like the one where you talk about eating your seed. That's very interesting because most times we forget that if you want to be able to have a huge harvest, you must have the seed to plant. And because we are who we are, sometimes we eat and we forget that we need to keep some for the rainy days, and we need to keep some to plant so that we can have more the next year. Yeah. So, do you think there are some challenges that people would face when they want to maintain a positive attitude?
I think it's possible. It's very possible from my point of view. With respect to the individual adopting a positive attitude, I think you'll make progress in life. You'll be satisfied with your life. That's one thing I know. But then, when you make progress, others who are not comfortable with your progress will not be very comfortable being around you. So it's very likely that those who adopt a positive mental attitude and how they do their things, they are kind of strange. I think that explains why you have the majority of the population struggling, and maybe the wealth is just reserved for just a very few number of people. They have a different way they look at life, and they have a different way they analyze things before they take decisions. And when they start their businesses, they succeed. Of course, one of the easiest things I see when I want to locate it, I want to use the the work environment like as an example. Like before, I started talking about young people who easily grow in the corporate ladder, and the easiest thing you get as feedback from those who are behind is that, hey, are you too sure? Or maybe this woman, she or this lady grew because maybe she's having an affair with the boss. You get that kind of negative feedback that comes in, and you have sabotage that comes in from friends and colleagues who are not really comfortable and don't understand why you should pick it up, and that you should move so fast while they've been there maybe for long, and all of that. So I think that's the major challenge you have, or maybe if I didn't get it, I think that's the major challenge you have. And to me, the best solution is developing the attitude. Still, a positive attitude is still the answer for that. Developing an attitude to stop worrying about what other people are doing, what other people are saying, how they act, what they believe. Stop trying to change people. Stop trying to change. Just be authentic. Just be yourself, but treat them well. So that's what I had with respect to that, Coach Annabelle. I don't know if
I
it's
like what you ended with. You said just be yourself. And because we can't really please everyone, and I'll always say this, because we can't please everyone, if you know what you're doing is the right thing, don't always try to excuse yourself or to give people to over explain yourself why you do what you do. If you know it is the right thing, your conscience and your God is clear that what I am doing is correct. What I am doing is not impacting any person negatively. It's not having any negative influence on anyone. Then just keep going. In addition to all what you have said, I would say some challenges that people, because like I believe you mentioned it. You talked about the negative self-talk because people doubt themselves, and also sometimes because of our past failures we just feel like um we have that constraint that if maybe we adopt this attitude, if we try this new thing, it might not work, so we just kind of hold ourselves back, and this can be very very disturbing when rather than moving ahead we focus on the things of the past, things that have made us not to kind of things that prevented our success in the past. And if we are also in a negative environment, there's a probability that we would always be constrained by that environment. We would always we won't grow past where we are, and that's why I like
true.
John Maxwell's book. I think it's the 15 Valuable Laws, where he says our environment, the people that we surround ourselves with most, they determine who we turn out to be. So if we should mind who we spend time with, who we listen to, how we listen to them, and how we put into practice what they say. So, do you think that our attitudes has an influence on our relationships, and is there a way that we can kind of try to maybe improve our relationships through our attitude, or
Honestly speaking,
how do you think our attitude affects our relationships?
honestly speaking, this is a very challenging and broad topic. And my observation is that the more knowledge you have on anything or any person, the deeper your interest and the better your capacity to showcase, or better, uh, the better the relationship, the better the understanding. Deeper knowledge about any person makes him or her fascinating. Um, One of the things I think we can adopt, attitude has a very positive way of, positive attitude has a very positive way also in enhancing our relationship, especially if we adopt certain aspects, certain positive attitude or characteristics or mode of thinking and mode of acting. I think, for instance, if we dig deep, if we struggle, if we develop the attitude to dig deep in finding out the people in our team, or in case if it's a relationship, finding out what your partner likes, what he doesn't like, his interest, what's his background, his ambition, what are the kind of things that pleases him, and all of that. If you have that kind of attitude that you have to dig deep to find out what really interests this person, what interests that, even at the level of teamwork, or at the office, if you find out how is your family, are you married, how many children, what do your children really like, you kind of show them that you have interest, you have genuine interest for them, and don't just ask questions just for asking sake, but really have genuine interest in digging and finding out, not for Kongosa purposes, but to better understand them. Before you know it, you'll be creating very good common grounds, and you'll really enhance your relationship, even at every level, whatever you engage in, even at the level of the job, in terms of career. If you find out and dig more about your career, what the latest methods on solving particular problems, certain problems, it may be human resource, it may be engineering, whatever. If the more you dig, the more you find fascinating ideas and concepts, which will make life very interesting in the office, at the job site, and just same way in the relationship. The more you dig, the more you learn, the more you discover and create common grounds for all those you interact with in your relationship. Another positive attitude, I think, if we put them into perspective too, um, in everything you do, whether it's a job or in a relationship, or in terms of collaboration with your colleagues, how you want to assist them, how you want that teamwork to go, you must be able to give in your 100% and happily. Don't just give and grumble. No, I'm the only one doing all these things. All the work is on my head. It doesn't really work. Even it comes to relationship, husbands, wife, boyfriend, girlfriends. If you give 20%, honestly, they'll look at what you didn't give. If you give 90%, even the 90% will not be appreciated, because the focus will be on the little 10% you didn't give. But when you give in your very best, trust me, there's no room for an excuse. It flows. So my encouragement, especially, is to develop that attitude to give your 100% best and happily. Another positive attitude, I think, it's worth considering in terms of relationship. Anyway, I'm struggling to bring out some positive attitudes that can enhance our relationship positively and our connections with one another. Maybe relationship in group terms and all of that, because we can't live as islands. you know let your conversation show interest and emit, and it should bring in some level of fire. Be the kind of enthusiastic person that when you come and you talk with people, they can see clearly that you believe in what you say and you say it with some life. Those who really know how to, those who believe in what they pass in as information and then they share with their partners and their groups and their relationship with that level of life and happiness, honestly, you pull attention, people listen to you. I think it's a very good attitude to develop too, to bring life in your conversation. The next thing I found what worth sharing is for every good relationship, whether job relationship, whether family, maybe friends, lovers, whatever. We need to develop the attitude, or we need to develop that habit of avoiding complaining all the time, and instead build the attitude of broadcasting good news. Good news pleases people and makes and gets their 100% attention. If you're the kind of person that broadcasts more of good news rather than complaining, trust me, everybody wants to listen to you. But if you're the kind that every minute you're complaining, you kind of suck every other person, because everybody is facing, we all are facing the same challenges every day. I know it's a little tricky when it comes to male and female, because when it comes to wiring of male and female, females are wired differently. They want somebody to listen to them. That's their one primary need they need. And a lot of women don't have that today. And that's why most relationship women are really unhappy. They don't have the person to listen to them. They want to whine and grind and complain, and a man is just normally to accept that and listen. And they don't really get that. And when you don't kind of get that, they are really, they kind of get cool and they're unhappy. So, but then if women can understand that complaining too is an issue, they'll have to reduce at least the frequency they complain, especially to their spouses, because nobody wants to listen to more negative vibes quite often. That's another aspect I think which is positive that we should consider. But then we can't change the nature of, say, for women and for men. That's why I say it's a little tricky. I think if I had to add another point, are you following Coach Annabelle? Am I audible enough? 5 on 5.
You're 5 on 5. I'm just
Okay,
thinking. Yeah,
thank you. So
yeah.
if I had to add some another thing too that can enhance our connection in terms of relationship with people, I think is to grow that attitude to make people feel important and significant. Everybody, whether it's a fool, wants to know that he or she is important, and we should develop that attitude if you really want to be successful, to make people know that they're important. Shower them with recognition. Look deep in them and find out what is really good in them and show them and express them openly. Tell them, I like you for your hard work. I like you for your cleanliness. I like you for this. I think, tell them, compliment them. You'll build great relationship, I think, and you'll make your relationship stronger. And people will have trust in you because they know you have genuine interest in them. Especially if you're not flattering them and you're giving out the attributes that they themselves know that they've been working hard to develop for a long time, and you spur them up to develop those good skills. What else? Make sure, if I should add one last point, not to make it too long, it's like I feel like I've been talking for too long, is that make sure that when you, after talking to someone or anyone, make sure that by the time you're leaving, let them feel better than they felt before. Make sure that your conversation was a lively one, was a sweet one that gave them some level of fun. And when they go back, if they're going back to bed, they go back with some fun memories, at least with some smiles in their faces and some laughter. I think that's what I think I can add with respect to how our attitudes can influence our relationship. Coach Annabelle, I hope it's
I,
worth.
I love the last point you just made. You said, make sure when you meet people, they feel better. And I just want to ask our audience listening to us today, do you feel better listening to this session? Do you think it has been of value added? Or do you think you want more? If you want more, please make sure you put your comments in the chat. Maybe it's a topic that you want us to treat, maybe it's a question, it is something that has been bothering your mind for a very long time. Please write that in the comments. You can send that as a private message. I can as well pass it on to our speaker, Frank Kemsey, and he'll be delighted anytime, any day. I know him as a very selfless person. If you look through his Facebook page, or his Facebook profile, you realize that he shares this selflessly. Every day he has something new he's sharing. And I'm surprised that he has been talking about positive habits, but he hasn't spoken about one habit he does every day. One of them is sharing, like what he's doing here, but the other thing is exercising every day. And he has been one of my main supporters of Bezatelli. So I want to use this opportunity to thank you again. And like I said, I hope everyone on this live is living feeling much better, feeling that I am impacting the world. My attitude is contributing to make someone feel better. My attitude is contributing to make someone feel that I can be better than who I am. Maybe from the way they're always being mean to you, but you're always being very nice to them. And then they start thinking, why don't I change from being a very mean person to being a better person? Our culture, our society, our life experiences, our upbringing, our education, our interaction with people, all of these things, they impact our attitude. But it is what we make of it. Maybe our interactions with people might not necessarily be very positive, or our upbringing was not very positive. The society today is getting a little bit mixed up. You don't sometimes know what is right and what is wrong. But what does your mind, what does your feeling, what does your intuition tell you that is right? What does God in your time of prayer, what does he tell you is the right thing to do? So I hope that as we go from today, we would make someone in every interaction, even if it means saying hello to that lady you see every day on the street when you're going to work or you're going to school, or when you're going to your apprenticeship or to apprenticeship site, or where you're going to your shop. Why not try to make a difference? Why not try to impact just one person? Because I am one of those people that believes it starts with just one person. That person will change the world for you. And that person which you impact might be the turning point for you. They might come to you, I want more. And who knows what that could all develop into. And then another thing that you said is help people know that they are important. This is one of the six human needs, which Tony Robbins takes time to detail in his teachings. He says that everybody wants to feel seen, heard, and valued. Like everybody wants that when they come into, when they walk into a room, let people acknowledge that I am here. Let people know me. Let people feel my presence, and that makes people feel that okay, I belong. It makes people feel happy. It makes people want to do more, want to give more, and want to be more. So these points that you have covered are very very interesting. Then I'll end with the last one. Though sorry that I'm taking everything again, but I think they were very important that we need to put more emphasis on. You talked about showing interest in other people. Showing interest in people is not waking up in the morning and giving your wife 10,000. Maybe you normally give her 5,000 or 1,000 francs for feeding allowance, and then you give 10,000 and then you just walk away. It's about taking time to have that deep communication with people, to make them understand that they are being loved, to make them understand that you care for them, empathize with them, make them feel that they belong, make them feel that it's not just about the money, but it's about us building something, it's about us having something in common. So showing interest is giving that person the opportunity to express themselves as well. So thank you so very much for sharing with us today. I would like once more, if our audience have any questions, I'm going to show Stephanie's comments here because I think it's very interesting. I would like if we have any questions, because we have gone over the hour mark. If you have any questions, any recommendations, please do put them in the chat, put them in the comments, and then we'll be delighted to attend to that. Notwithstanding, I would like to ask, would you have any resources that you think our audience can benefit from if they want to build their attitude, if they want to have a more positive attitude? Because I know no matter what field of life you find yourself in, whether you're a student, you work in customer care, you work at the hospital, you're a lecturer, you're a leader in whatever position, you need to have a positive attitude. Are there any resources that you think that would help? It could be maybe a podcast that you love. I know you've mentioned 2 or 3 books here already, but maybe if you can just give that again so that they can kind of take note.
Okay, if I really have to limit to our topic of today, I think there are some strategic books that I've come across and I've had to read them at least once or twice, most of them, or more than several times even. And each time I read a book, I it's completely different. I wonder if I read it before, you know. And my number one in my list is The Magic of Thinking Big. You see, most when it's one of the strongest book that treats attitude, positive attitude, and develops that winning mentality. You know, that's one of my greatest recommendation. The second, which is so close to it too, as well as powerful as well, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's
Yeah.
another very wonderful book. I have about six of them that come to mind. The next will be Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus by Dr. John Gray. It's an excellent book when it comes to relationship because men and women are really wired oppositely. And if you don't know that difference, as a man, you want to give a male solution to your wife and will end up causing conflict. Or you're expecting your woman to act like you, like a man. Same way, it turns around. The women will always want their men to kind of understand them like a woman, but unfortunately, men are wired differently. If you don't make an extra effort to understand that difference, it will be difficult. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus is a wonderful book in that direction, and it will help you. It will help you reorganize your way of thinking and the way you take judgment and your decision making process. The next, I think, on that list is Karmic Management, another very good book, especially for entrepreneurs, those who are into business. It's an excellent read, Karmic Management. And it falls in the same line like the Diamond Cutter. The Diamond Cutter as well, it falls in the same line, especially for those who are in business, how you can treat your customers and get good relationship and motivate them to patronize your business. And without taking the list too long, I'll end with the magic. The magic is a book that teaches you how to practice gratitude, and gratitude is everything. Once you put gratitude into practice, you can win everything. You can turn everything around. Gratitude turns everything around. In fact, I focus my sources of information is mostly books and YouTube. And when it comes to YouTube, I generally follow Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar. I follow even Kevin Trudeau on Facebook as well. I follow John Gray too as well on Facebook. They have wonderful, they've impacted to me particularly. There are several other people I listen to, but these are my key people. I follow them keenly when it comes to building myself and building my way of thinking. And I think I like their way of analyzing things. When I listen to them, analyze them, and I encourage everyone to do the same thing. You may have other books too. There are several good books around. You have good books like John C. Maxwell has several good books, of course. Go through them, analyze them, and see how you can apply them. When I give these ones, they're books that don't really go wrong. Thank you, Coach Annabelle. That's what I really had with respect to my resources, sharing what I use in this part with respect to just this particular domain of positive attitude.
Thank you so much. I think that everyone listening would have gotten something. If they're not very much into reading and they prefer just to listen, they can always go to the YouTube sources that you have given. He mentioned Zig Ziglar, he mentioned John Gray, he mentioned Jim Rohn. So those are three very resourceful people, and also John Maxwell. John Maxwell has a good one as well on attitude. I think it's on the um how to become a real what's the title of the book, is real. I know it's R for relationships, um E for what's that again, and then A for attitude, and L for leadership. I can't remember what E is, equipping. So that's the name of the book. I can't remember the whole name, but it's a series of five books, REAL, four books. Yeah, where A talks mainly about attitude, and I think it's a very good and complete one as well. Then I highly recommend the one you mentioned about How to Win Friends by Dale Carnegie. That's a book I have read myself as well. It's very, very interesting. Like the first time I read it, I found it like it was so eye opening. Some of the things that we neglect so much, we don't know those are the reasons why our relationships are either not working, or some of the things that we don't even know that those are the things we are doing that are making it work very well. So yeah, it's a great one. Then the last one you mentioned, the magic, I'm not sure I've heard about that one. Maybe if you can lay hands on who the author is, it would be great, that we kind of put it up in the
The
chat. So thank you so much for your time. Yeah, go on, please.
the magic is I may not be sure about the pronunciation is Rhonda, is it Byrne? The same author that wrote The Secret. I'm not sure about this how to pronounce that particular name. I just can write it. And it's a wonderful book. It's a practical book to practice gratitude for 28 days. Honestly, the first time I did that, I had a miracle. In fact, I had my miracle check. So I have a magic check. In the book is referred as magic check. Just write it, the check and all of that. It's wonderful. It
Yeah,
changes your perspective. There are so many things. We may think we are grateful people, but when you go through that book, you will discover that we take so many things for granted.
yeah.
Indirectly, we are ungrateful people. We are ungrateful people. We are very ungrateful.
I think if there is someone that I think that really practices gratitude, I would say you are one of the people I like. I was just saying that to my husband this evening. I say everything I write to him, he tells me thank you, and I'm just wondering why he's thanking me. My husband said it's because you're not used to people telling you thank you for what you're doing, and I was like, okay, thank you. So I truly appreciate you. Like, from the depth of my heart, I appreciate your time. I appreciate all the knowledge you have shared with my audience today, and I hope that they found value from this session and they would put it into practice. I would always emphasize on this. If we come and listen to these lives, if you listen to me rant for 40 minutes, for an hour, but you don't put it into practice, it makes no difference. If going tomorrow, you don't make a difference in your attitude, in the way you interact with people, it won't make great impact. But if you start putting all of this into practice, you would see that your job might make progress in your job. Not might, you will make progress. You will learn something new, you will move to a higher position. Your education, there will be progress. Every area of your life, you would find progress. Thank you so much for all those who were commenting, for all your inputs. I truly appreciate you. Looking forward to the next key, and looking forward to who will have share with us the next key. Thank you once more, Mr. Frank, for your time. I truly appreciate. I know you're a very busy person. To have you on this live today, from the depth of my heart, I am appreciative. And to your family, thank you, and sorry for taking your dad away on a Sunday night when he should be spending time with family. I truly appreciate everyone, and I'll see you again next week, same time, same place, God willing. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you, Coach Annabelle. Thank you. And bye.